Hello and welcome to day 42069 of quarantine. I'm your host, Edinger, and last week I made a video about the weird stuff Americans say based on an amazingly funny subreddit. And I know it's really hard to remember what day of the week it is due to the current situation, but do not worry, it is not Sunday. Today's Thursday. For today's Thursday community video, based on your comments, let's go in. We have British people like this, but they're in year 7. We're actively taught this is bad and egotistical, but in America this stuff is drilled into them and kids are praised for it. This is the exact type of comment I'm talking about. In America, this is systemic. This is something you're taught in schools as kids. You have to write essays about the American flag and why it represents freedom and why it's the most free country in the world. And in England, you're taught, don't be like this. That's egotistical. That's a dumb thing to do. And that's why British people are more fun of making fun of themselves, because that's in their culture, whereas America's more like, we're the greatest, you can't make fun of us because we put a man on the moon. America is the best at this exact thing. Military time, or as Europe likes to call it, just time. A lot of you guys pointed out this in the comments, like a lot. Okay, military time is American slang for the 24-hour clock. Why you guys have to put military in everything? You want to brag about your military in the time? No, no. It's just that in America, the only sector that really uses a 24-hour clock is the military. So it's just colloquially called military time. Now, it's a bit different from the 24-hour clock because you don't see people in England going, I'll meet you there at 900 hours. It's just 9, and you do convert 17 to 5. But in the military time, in the States, you do say 1,700 hours or 2,300 hours or 500 hours. Like, it makes sense there. I was surprised not many people knew that, but then again, maybe that's because I grew up in America, so this makes a lot of sense to me. I'm like, why wouldn't you know our intricacies? As an American, it's crazy talking to other Americans who went to school in different states and comparing what we learned / how it was taught to us. Like the fact that some kids didn't learn about the civil rights movement or the Civil War or other parts of American history is completely wild and should be unacceptable. Don't even get me started on what we learned about other countries. You didn't learn about the Civil War? I feel like that's a pretty big one. Civil War was taught like religiously for me. I remember that was like an 8th grade, 7th grade thing. And then you learn about the Revolutionary War, and then you learn about, you know, the World War and the World War II. And yeah, we learned a lot about American history growing up. But like you said, it is very different from state to state. Some states have a different curriculum and they're like, I think we should focus more on the wars we won. Most of them, am I right? I like the idea of states having different curriculums when it comes to state history, if that's a thing. Texas, where you at? But in terms of like other histories and other things that should be taught, I think that makes more sense to have a national curriculum for that type of thing, so that way you don't have certain states that are lagging behind in general knowledge, like of the civil rights movement. Read the I am Italian point. In England, we take it to the parents, but not further back. I'm Greek because my parents are Greek, my name is Greek, we celebrate some holidays the Orthodox way, we speak a little home, etc. Yeah, I honestly think that makes sense. When I was making that analogy, I was mostly just trying to make light of the fact that there are people out there that have absolutely no relation to the country that their ancestors are from, but will harp on as if they are when that topic comes up. Maybe that just comes from the fact that I am from New Jersey, a state full of real Italians that have never been to Italy, but we are really proud of it. And this comes from someone who has no Italian in his blood, okay? I'm not it, but I'm from a very Italian state. Does that make sense? We are by far the most Italian state, and it's not Italian, it's Italian-American, and that's a good heritage. I like that. So yeah, I mostly agree. If your grandparents are from a different country, it's your heritage, but you're not necessarily that. I guess the parent one removed, makes sense to me. For non-Americans, having month first feels wrong as we have them in size order. So day smallest, month, the next biggest, then year, the largest. Although if you've grown up putting it one way, I can see it being confusing when you move to a place where it's different. So I'm gonna blow your minds. I actually made an entire video about why I prefer the month, day, year format, but to put it very simply, it makes a lot of sense when it comes to computer programming and organization. Let's say you've got some files and you want to organize them on your computer. Well, easily you can have them into different folders based on the year, and then if you want to just have all of them in a descending order based on when they were taken, if you do date first, the day first, you're then going to have all of the months completely mixed up. You're gonna be seeing the 28th of March right next to the 27th of February, even though they're completely different all over the place. Whereas if you have it month first, so 0328, 0329 in that order, the computer will automatically sort them that way. Personally, I'm the type of person that really enjoys organization when it comes to my files, and so I like having everything in a descending order based on date. And with the day first format, you can't really do that. The computer doesn't sort the middle, which is the month, and that's so frustrating. So you have to have more folders and more gunk to do what you want. So that's my argument, okay? I'm dying on this hill. I do prefer month first, okay? It's superior. A friend of my mom was an American teacher. She has a lot of friends scattered throughout Europe, including us. I'm sorry, put you on a really American accent there. She asked all her European friends to send in 3-word stereotypes that describe Americans. After she taught this to her students to show them what stereotypes around the world people have about America, the principal told her not to do it again because it messed with the kids' patriotisms. This is an example of how not to learn anything about the outside world of your bubble. Oh, that's so cringy. Yikes. She was like, hey kids, let me ask some people from around the world what they think of Americans as a stereotype and we can learn about it. And instead the principal was like, hey, you're threatening these kids' devotion to the country. How are we gonna get them to die for our country and keep it bad like it is, unless we lie to them and tell them it's great? That's really disappointing, genuinely upsetting. That's the type of thing that I think we're talking about. That's the type of thing that is systemic, that is in society, that causes Americans to be lagging behind in terms of general knowledge of the outside world. Yikes. Evan is calling out Americas, am I? Who think they're Irish because their great-great-great-granddad's sister's cousin's dog is Irish, and I'm here for it. Does this mean I'm finally on a good side of the Irish again? This sounds great. I wish I'd done this before. Yeah, it's the same point I'd made about the Italian thing. If you have Italian heritage, that's cool. If you have Irish heritage, that's cool. Don't call yourself Italian or Irish just on your great-granddaddy's sister's cousin's dog. Unless his last name is O'Flanagan. That makes sense. Tell them your family came from Kilkenny or put a cork in it. When I studied in the US, we had discussions on immigration in my history class. One guy said, well, Germany has let in so many refugees, they no longer have a culture. There is no strudel anymore. This is the type of comment that you just see online and you pray that these are just outlier stupid people that are just so stupid that, you know, if you're looking at a scale of IQ levels, there's gotta be people all the way in that area, but you hope that maybe it's just a bot or something. But no, there are people out there that think this. Germans in my audience, how's life without the strudel? The refugees have taken all of our strudel. What's next? There go my pretzels. We let in all the refugees and now we don't have any more pretzels. This is the type of person that just gets their news spoon-fed to them from their particular news outlet and goes, this is truth because this one outlet told me. Good job, buddy. Stupid racist. I like how he states he's Scandinavian, then goes on to list 2 countries that are not in Scandinavia. Okay, I'm gonna blow the minds of anyone out there from Scandinavia. Scandinavia is more of a concept for Americans. When you say Scandinavia as a Scandinavian, you have a very specific area and specific countries. In the US, it just means, you know, like that spot. You know what I'm saying? Like Finland, you're like, no. Americans like, yeah, actually, yeah. If you're a country that looks like this, or Denmark, you know, if you're the 3 phalluses next to Denmark, which is also kind of phallic, then you're basically Scandinavia. I don't think Iceland is normally, as an American, considered it, but yeah, it's usually Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and Finland. So sorry if that's not correct, but that's the American word for it. And I think it's so popularized over there now that there's 2 disjoint meanings of the term Scandinavian. I'm sorry. And if you disagree with where Americans have put Scandinavian countries, then mark them on the map. Norway! Okay. Gotta sweeten up this video with more puns. How many times do we have to say Finland is not in Scandinavia? Am I right, lads? America. Wow, Evan really is British. It's really annoying how certain expressions to me are so normalized in my brain, such as lads. Like, lads is just something I say all the time now. And so the fact that I was like trying to be a super American man and I still said lads just goes to show that that's just part of my vernacular now. Right, lads? All right, lads? I'm trying to do it in an American accent. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Evan. How's it going, lads? It doesn't quite hit. Proud American, but the amount of shame and embarrassment I feel watching this is astounding. Well, Caitlin, I think that is the way that I'm hoping most Americans can view this. I think you very well can be proud of your country and proud of its accomplishments and proud of where it is, but you should also be able to look critically at your country's actions and the people from it and go, this is not how we should be and this is not what we should stand for as a people. The fact that America used to represent such an ideal and such a beautiful place that anyone can come to and be accepted, and now it's the complete opposite, should make you upset. You should be proud of where it's been as a country, but also proud enough to work on it to try and better it. I was on holiday in Iceland once and I overheard these Americans asking the hotel receptionist how to switch on the AC in their room. The receptionist just stared at them and bluntly said, "You're in Iceland, open the window." We like our AC, okay? I can't imagine going to a hotel in like a westernized country that didn't have air conditioning. just because that's what you expect as a hotel. I think if you're someone that gets hotels, you expect them, no matter where you are, to basically be the same thing. It's like, can't believe I visited Bali. Wow, it's the same thing as when I went to visit Iceland, because it's just the inside of a hotel room with air conditioning. Don't know why that accent was there, but that's what you expect from a hotel. Sure, it's funny that they said just open the window, but also, fun fact, I don't know many American hotels that allow you to open the windows. I don't think that's really a big thing in the States, because people would... Gotta love Jimmy's cardboard name tag. When I made that, I wanted to make it something that was so obviously like funny and bad. Like, why did he do it on a cardboard thing? Just little extra bits that make it, in my opinion, just a little bit more comical, as opposed to going over the top with a different character or having a wig or something like that. Just me, but with a cardboard name tag. And I changed it in German when he was in Germany. By the way, I don't translate the German in my videos. Should I do that? I always think it's fun to just leave it in there as little German Easter eggs for the Germans in my audience. I actually had 2 bits of German in last week's video. One was halt die Klappe, which means shut your mouth. And the other one was das ist nicht das, was ich meinte, which means that's not what I meant, which is what Jimmy said. Anyway, moving on. I'm from Sweden and I lived in the US as an exchange student for a year. Me and my friend from Thailand were talking to an American friend's mom, and she literally outright told us, well, Sweden is a better country because your English education is a lot better. She's seriously judging our countries solely based on their knowledge of English, with herself making zero effort to learn someone else's language. That's really America. Judging a country based on how much of an emphasis English is put into their education? Come on. I don't really have much to say here, except you should probably just submit this to the subreddit we talked about, because it'd probably be front page. Wait, cars weren't invented in America? I've definitely been told that all my life. Thank you. I'm glad there are lots of comments like this. I'm not alone here, okay? I genuinely was taught America invented the car, and judging from the fact that this wasn't the only comment like this, a lot of other Americans also were taught that. There you go. America. Literally teaching false history to make itself look better. Not a good look. That doesn't automatically make them a bad country. I can't even finish. Evan turned into Daniel Thrasher for that ad. I like it. Actually, I do quite like Daniel Thrasher's videos. I like his ad integration. But just because I'm doing a sketch doesn't make him doing a Daniel Thrasher. I mean, sketch has been around for centuries. But yeah, I'll take that as a compliment, thanks. Isn't this intense fear of socialism a relic from the McCarthy era? Also, that halt die Klappe was spot on, and the interaction could have happened just like that, especially in Berlin. Thank you, appreciate that. I was going for the actual expressions the Germans would use. But also, yeah, I'm pretty sure America still has that intense fear of socialism because of the Cold War and Stalinism. I don't think we can really change anything about that except through education, telling people about social practices that aren't communism. But also, people have to be willing to listen, and it seems like a lot of people nowadays are not really about that life. The UK uses both imperial and metric at the same time, and it's very confusing. I had one lesson to calculate metric to imperial and vice versa, but I can't remember any of it. Yeah, to be honest, we had to do that too in the US, but mostly just for chemistry class. I remember I had to memorize all the conversion rates, and to this day, I still have 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. How useful is that? It's actually very useful. I use that very often when measuring out distances. I do it all the time. How many kilometers in a mile? I can do that. Just from the 2.54, it takes a little bit of time, but you can do it. Also, the liter to quart conversion is like 0.967 or something like that. I can never remember which one is bigger. I just know it's like that exact number. If I'm off by a little bit, I'm sorry. So yeah, it is a bit weird that both the US and the UK do use both systems of measurement, especially when it comes to like foodstuffs. You can go into a restaurant and order a takeaway bottle of soda just for yourself, which is 20 ounces, or get one for the family, 2 liters. It's the same brand, but a different size, and you just change system from imperial to metric. We're doomed. Seriously, but that is a big reason why we have so many people in America that think the country is infallible and the best in every way, because it is taught this way. Hey, Evan, just wanted to point out a mistake you made in your ad segment. You said NordVPN will encrypt your browsing history. Yeah, I realized I did not mean to use the word encrypt. I was using that as a synonym for protect in a way, or protect from, spying eyes. I was basically using the word encrypt incorrectly. Coming from someone that did a dissertation on encryption, bit embarrassing. But yeah, if you are using a normal web browser, I would still recommend using a VPN to keep your browsing history more private. But if you really wanted to go gung-ho, I'm sure you'd be using Tor or something like that. But that's its own can of onions. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm just laughing at the way Evan pronounces lemafau. How do you pronounce lemafau, okay? I say lemau and lemafau. How else do you do it? Do you say LMFAO? Because that's a long way to say lemafau. This is the way to do it, okay? You're welcome. Can I get the egg fried rice with the lemafau, please? Like, it sounds like something you'd order at a restaurant, Delicious. Well, thank you for all your lovely comments. Hope you enjoyed today's Community Thursday video. As a quick note before I end, I have put up a sound blanket for this video and for the next video. What do you think? Has the audio slightly improved, or am I just wasting all my time? Love to hear from you. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys next Sunday. Goodbye. Whoosh! We're bringing back the whoosh!